Great. So, in the last class, I have simply discussed about the basic accounting terms, and I have also told you people that to master an accountancy or to be efficient in accountancy, for example, you'll have to understand this accounting terms of whatever we will do, the names and all in the first chapter, like deeply, for example, deeply. And if you have any doubt, you can ask me. You can take the screenshot particular book, and you can post individual message to me as well on the group as well. In the next class, for example, I will simply take care of that. That what things I put, I'll have to revise or recap of the previous class now. So one more item we have, or the accounting term we have, that we are going to use in future while doing accounting. So just do focus on that. Number five, we have assets. Remember, so in a business, what happens that the business do purchase many assets. So how do we define the particular asset? Or as of now, just take a simple term that we commonly use in our day-to-day life. It is wealth, for example. Wealth. We say wealth. So what do you mean wealth? That anything which has some value. So, for example, land that your father, your mother, or your family member may possess. Land any particular area in any particular area, the home you have, the furniture you have, all are your wealth. You know what is the main feature of the wealth? That the wealth may give you money or may give you benefit in future. This is a basic feature of wealth that any accountant can easily understand. That if you sell any particular good, okay, and if that particular good is going to give you money in future, then in that particular case, you simply say that particular item is an asset for you, is a wealth for you. The same happens for the business as well. The business not run on air and on, for example, just on ground. It will have to acquire some machineries, some tools, or in short or in aggregate, I would say, we have to acquire some assets, and these assets are the those items or those things that businesses do use in the production process, and they get benefit in future. So, for example, I do have a laptop, and I'm using that particular laptop to teach you people, and that laptop is helping me out to take the online classes. The same thing happens in the organization or in companies as well, that they have different kind of machineries, different kinds of, for example, tools, the vehicles, whatever they are using in the production process, and that tool or that good requires heavy investment. Those goods and those tools are known as assets. Remember. So you can include two features in the definition while defining a particular asset. The first, it must give a benefit in future. Second, it must have some resale value in future. It may or may not have, but it has some resale value. Then in future, if you sell those items as like old goods, for example, you'll get some money. And the third is that the businesses or the enterprises do use those goods and those items for their benefits. Remember, three things we have. Now, in that particular case, I can simply define assets. What assets define? Let me read the particular definition from book first, and then I'll break out definition one by one. The first, we have anything which is in the possession or is the property of a business enterprise, including the amounts due to it from others. Remember. So we have two things given, that in the possession, that we have right on that particular thing we possess, that's in our right, that's in a custody, you can say, those assets. And second thing is that including the amount due to others. For example, say that I have lent out 10,000 rupees to my friend. Now that 10,000 rupees is again an asset for me, because in future I'm going to get 10,000 rupees returned back. That my friend becomes an asset for me, and in later topics will name this kind of friend or the person who owes us something in the name of data. Remember, so we'll have the next topic on data topic as well. So next thing that is called asset. In other words, anything which will enable a business enterprise to get cash. Remember, to get cash or to get a benefit in future is an asset. So at your home, you guys have furniture. You guys have different things that if you sell as an old goods though, you guys going to get cash in future. These are the assets. So in the organization, in the business, you will also feel that these assets sometimes purchased, these assets sometimes sold, these assets sometimes used in the production process as well. So for that, if any transaction involves any asset creation or, for example, sale, you'll have to record the accounting adjustment, accounting entries for that only. So we have few names as well over here. Thus the cash, the amount of money, it's itself a liquid cash. The bank balance, stock, remember stock means amount of goods which are laying go down, or which you can say which are ready to sell, for example. Next we have furniture, the furniture items in office, in the go down, the furniture and all. Next we have the machinery. The machineries are the tools, or you can say the capital goods that producers do use in their factory, and they produce goods and services. Next we have land and building, on which the office or the factory is situated. That particular land is also an asset for us. Bills receivable, for example, we have sold goods to some people, and that people is going to give money in future. But right now they have sent me a letter signing. Just take of now, as of now, just assume that letter, for example, that they have given in writing that they will pay me in future some amount of money. This letter becomes bills receivable document. Remember. Next, we have the money owing by debtors. Owing by debtors means we have sold goods on credit on udhar, for example, or we have given cash on credit or udhar to a second person, and that person is going to return back that particular money in future. That now that particular person becomes debtor. Okay, and debtor is a kind of asset. So I'm again repeating that the first element should be that if you sell those assets in future, those items, you will get cash. Second, those items give a benefit in the production process or during the course of the business as the economic gain, you can say. Use machinery and all. So let me know that have you understood the meaning of that particular asset? Have you understood that particular the meaning of asset? That in an organization, what asset do? Assets simply involve or engaged in the production process to make goods, to produce services. Remember. Let me know. All the people, just minimize Teams application and reply me in that particular chat. Okay. So now further we need to categorize these assets based upon their span of time. Based upon the span of time they are used. For example, they remain in the business based upon time. Remember. Okay. They are categorized further. And if you want to categorize based upon the amount invested or the money invested, the same categorization we can get. The first categorization is the fixed assets, or in the book it is given as non-current assets. Non-current and fixed both have same meaning. Okay. So now what do you mean by fixed assets, or the you can say current assets? My mistake, fixed assets or non-current assets. See, you will see when you categorize or when you analyze the assets. Take example at your home only. You will categorize or analyze that two kinds of assets you will find. First kind of assets in which that the investment of money is much more required, like the land, the house, for example. Okay, the expensive furnitures, for example. They are also asset but they need more investment. More amount will have to be invested comparatively. And if you see the second kind of assets at your home, like the fan, the refrigerator, for example, the laptop or the cell phone, for example, these are all assets, remember, but they require less amount of money. Is it or not? Reply me with yes or no. Do you feel that in at your home there are two kinds of assets, or some assets you have to invest much more money comparatively, and on some assets you have to invest less amount of money? Okay, someone says yes. Okay, reply all. Okay, fine. So now the first feature you people have understood that some assets needs more investment, more money to acquire or to purchase those assets, and some assets need less money comparatively. Now, second thing on the basis of the time span they are used in, so you'll feel that some assets on which we invest less money, remember, they remains for the less time period at our home, and and the assets on which we are investing heavy amount, they remain at our home for longer period, like the land or like the building, they remain for 30 years or for example 40 years. Okay, and that particular refrigerator or cell phone, they last near about 3 4 5 years, and after that maybe 10 years some assets as well, the refrigerator for example, but take for the example purpose only, 5 or 6 years they got depleted or they got destroyed, or they won't be able to we won't be able to use those assets, for example. Now, in the same sense, in the same way, the business also have many assets which are non-current in nature, means fixed, remember, and many assets are current in nature. For example, the land and building, that machinery, that furniture, on these kind of assets, the business will have to spend more money, or you can say larger amount of money comparatively the current assets. So if you categorize the assets, now you will get the non-current or the fixed assets which remain in the business for longer period of time and requires heavy investment, heavy money. And second kind of assets you will get in the organization is the kind of current assets which requires less amount of money comparatively and they remain in the business for the less period of time. So I have given example of the non-current or the fixed assets, which is building, land and building, the furniture and the machinery, these things. And when we say the examples of the current assets, you can simply say debtors, the prepaid expenses, and for example, this kind of the cash balances, the stock. These are the assets which remain in the business for a shorter period of time comparatively. So let me read that particular non-current assets first. Non-current assets refer to those assets which are held for continued use in the business for the purpose of producing goods and services and are not meant for sale, remember. Now, examples of non-current assets are long-term investments, fixed assets such as land and building, plant and machinery, computer, motor vehicles, furniture, etc. These are the used in the production process and this stay or remain in the business for a longer period of time and they are purchased not to resell them, just not to resell them, but they are used in the production process to produce goods and services, which is the main objective or main work of the organization producing goods and services. These fixed assets help in the production process. Now, what we have the current assets. No, there are two subcategories also tangible, intangible. We come back to that only. First, let me discuss the current assets. Remember. Now, the current assets are those assets which are meant for sale or which the management would want to convert into cash within a 1 year, means very short period of time. As such, these assets are also termed as the short-lived, remember, or active assets. For example, debtors are expected to be converted into cash within a reasonable short period of time because we'll have to chase the money from debtor and we'll have to get the money from debtor. So once we have got the money from debtors, the amount of debtor will simply decrease. Remember, stock is continuously sold and bills receivable are also converted into cash in a very short period of time. These assets in the organization becomes the current assets. So slowly, gradually, you will be able to understand. There is no difficulty in that. Once you get the transaction in your hand, now you will simply able to understand this only. Now coming on to the insight or the subcategory of the non-current or the fixed assets. The first we have tangible assets. So what? So I guess you people know the meaning of tangible, na? That we can see, we can touch. The second intangible, that we can't see, we can't touch, but we can feel that yes, this, for example, this thing is there only. For example, the air is nearby us, na? We can't see, we can't touch, but we feel that air is there. So as for furniture, for example, we can see the furniture, we can touch it, so it is tangible, remember. So some same thing in the fixed assets category, we see the two kinds of assets, the tangible assets and the intangible assets. So tangible assets, you know the meaning of the tangible, that the assets that we can touch, we can see, we can simply identify where is that particular asset located or situated in the organization. But there are few assets as well in the organization that we can't see, we can't touch. Yes, but the benefit or the presence of that particular asset can be easily felt by the persons. So the first asset becomes that one, the patent rights, the copyrights, the goodwill. These are the items which help the business to earn extra profit in the competitive market. That patent right, goodwill, for example. Now many organizations, they do inventions, they do research and development. So after particular inventions and research and development, they do develop copyright or patent right that other people can't produce that type of good without our permission. So what we do if we, for example, and as an organization, we want to, for example, manufacture a particular kind of goods that on which some other person have made the inventions and discoveries. So we will have to buy the copyright or the patent right to produce those goods in our organization. For that only we have to pay a heavy amount to that particular person who has done the invention. The cars, the lights, the cell phones, these are all the same things. Okay. all the cell phone companies, they do pay a heavy amount for the Android system, remember, to the Google, for example. So this paying software is a kind of what, intangible thing now. These are the assets as well for the organization, that on a regular basis they have to pay some amount. So the Google company let them use the particular system which is Android, remember. In the same way, the organizations also buy copyright, the patent right, these for example goodwills and all, to use for the benefit of the business. Since it involves the expenditure or money spending, heavy money spending, and these items let us get benefit in future, these are also assets. So in the while the transaction or recording transaction, you may see these items in the particular transaction. There again, I'll make you people understand that what kind of items is there, what kind of asset is that, I will say. So till now we have done the assets only. So let me know in the chat option that you have understood about the assets or not. Let me know in the chat, so we can go further and discuss about the liabilities. Okay, so I have got 3 replies. So now we can move further. If you see the third category, which is liquid assets, wasting assets, fictitious, let me discuss as well in a short, very brief. See, liquid assets in like in organization accounting field, the liquid means cash, okay, and the liquidity and the liquid means cash, for example, and liquidity is a feature of any asset that whether it can be converted into the cash in a short period of time or not. If a particular asset can be converted into cash in a short period of time, then we can say that particular asset has the liquidity, or that asset is a liquid, for example. Say if you want to sell your land, if you want to sell your land, you'll take some time now, 2 or 3 months, for example. So land becomes non-liquid because it takes time to sell land and convert that particular land into cash. But if you want to sell your cell phone, for example, if you want to sell, for example, your books, these are the assets which gets converted into cash very quickly, remember. They have the liquidity, or they are called liquid assets. Second, we have the wasting assets. So what happens in the organization that while using that particular asset, some assets are not be able to replaced. They get depleted over the time. For example, the mines and or you can say the oil wells. Once we have like used a particular oil well, or we have extracted all the oil from that particular oil well, that oil well gets depleted and there is no use of that now. Once the oil is oil is gone, all the oil is gone. So earlier when the oil was there in the particular well, that oil well was for asset for us. But once we have extracted the oil, or you can say mineral, from a mine or from a well, for example, after the excavation or the extraction of all the materials, that mine got depleted, or no use of that mine after that particular situation. So in that when some assets after using that have no use after that particular time, that assets are wasting assets, because over the time that gets depleted, wasted, or in the end when we have extracted all the things, all the benefit from that particular asset, in the end that asset becomes useless. Okay, the same many oil wells in the Saudi Arabia, in the Arabian Sea, in many mines, for example, in the India as well. They have been wasted, and because all the materials from there we have extracted from there, and nothing is left in that only. Next, we have the fictitious or the nominal assets. These assets are those assets which have some exceptions, you can say. These assets are there in the business. These are assets also, but we cannot turn them, these fictitious and the nominal assets, in cash. Sometimes the business is different and the owner is different, that because of the entity concept. So what happens over here, that if the business makes some loss, it will have to make up that particular loss from the owner, because whatever the owner takes the decision, business does the same thing. So the profit, if business is earning profit, the profit goes to the owner, and the business is if business is earning loss, it also goes or deducted from the owner as well. So these assets cannot be converted into cash any point of time, or any point of time in the future of the particular business, but they are assets because the adjustments are done. The business will get the money, or for example, the adjustment from the owner's capital. These are fictitious assets. These assets are those assets which cannot be converted into cash any point of time in future on present as well. So let me read this one only. First, I'm reading about the liquid assets. Liquid assets are those assets which are either in the form of cash or can be quickly converted into cash, such as cash itself is a liquid asset, bills receivable, short-term investments we can sell and we can get the cash, debtors, accrued income. These are the items which are liquid assets for us. Next, we have the wasting assets. Wasting assets are those assets which are consumed through being worked or used, such as mines, oil wells. As soon as all the minerals have been extracted, the mine becomes valueless. Oil wells have the same characteristics. Wasting assets also include assets which get exhausted with the lapse of time, such as patents, trademarks, leasehold properties, etc. Now coming on to the fictitious assets. These are the assets which cannot be realized in cash, or no further benefit can be derived from these assets. Now such assets include debit balance of a PL account and the expenditure not yet written off, such as the admin suspense account, these things. So don't worry about that. Once you get the accounting quotients now, then you can understand what is happening there only. But as of now, for the reference purpose, just know these names only. Now, number 6, we have the liability. So we have understood about the assets. This will help you out to understand the meaning of liability. Remember, so liability is just opposite nature of the asset. So the first nature of the asset was that it generates cash, or it makes us to receive cash in future. The same in case of the, for example, that the liability in future we'll have to pay cash. We won't receive. In fact, we'll have to pay cash for these kind of liabilities. Okay. And at present, we derive benefit from the items, and in future we make the payment for this kind of liability. So any expenses which are unpaid at the current scenario becomes liability for ourselves. Say for example that you have today you have consumed 1 kg rice, and you have taken on credit. I'm saying, just take as a business and assume yourself that you have taken 1 kg rice from particular local shop, and said, "Bhaiya, I'll pay next week only." He or she has given you the 1 kg rice. Now, after giving 1 kg rice, price takes 50 rupees kg. That 50 rupees becomes liability for you. In future, you'll have to honor. You'll have to pay that particular amount for the liability that you have created right now. In the same way, the business also creates many liabilities during its course of business, and for that liability, the business will have to pay or have to give out the cash in future, maybe near future or maybe in long future. So those items becomes liability. In Hindi we call jimmedari, for example, jimmedari of payment. Remember, with this sense, I'm just reading the definition as over here, that it refers to the amount which the firm owes. Owes means someone is expecting money from us. So for us, it is a liability for us to, owns to outsiders, accepting the amount owed to proprietor. So whatever the amount the business owed to the proprietor, that is known as the capital. Remember, and that is known as also internal liability, because owner or the businessman is an internal member of the organization. So whatever the amount that the owner invests into the business for business, that amount invested by the owner becomes liability, but liability is internal liability. Remember, and we name it capital. The next we have in that in the words of the Finney, we'll just keep that particular word. There's a in the one equation is given, liability is equals to assets minus capital. Just ignore the particular equation as of now. We have a chapter accounting equation. We'll discuss this equation there only. Now, thus, when a firm purchases goods on credit from A, firm means what? We are purchasing goods on credit from A. The amount owing to A is a liability, and likewise, when a bank account is overdrawn, means we have overdrawn, we have taken extra money, we have taken excess money compared to what amount we have deposited. For example, we have deposited 1 lakh rupees to the bank, and we have taken 1,20,000 rupees from the bank just because we had overdraft facility from the bank. Owing to the bank is known as liability, because these liability for this liability we have to pay in future. This is the basic feature we have about the liability. So likewise, the bills payable, creditors, unpaid wages are also examples of liabilities, because they will for sure include cash payment by us in future. Now we also have the categories of liabilities further, that the internal liabilities and the external liabilities. So remember, the internal liabilities are those liabilities for which the payment has to be made to the internal members of the organization of the business. I'm reading that only as all amounts which a business entity has to pay to the proprietor or owner, or you can also say the are internal liabilities. So proprietor and the owner is a internal member. He is closely associated with the business, such as capital, or you can say accumulated profits and all. These are the internal liability we have. And the external, the name is clear, payment which are due or which has to be made in future to the external member who are not closely associated with the business. They are known as the external liabilities. So all amounts which a business entity has to pay to outsiders are known as the external liabilities, such as creditors, bank overdraft, bills payable, outstanding expenses, loss, etc. These are things. Now further we have the long term, or the again the same thing, we have the categories based upon the time span, for for how many months, for how many time after we have to pay amount. On that particular basis we can categorize liabilities into the non-current liabilities and the current liabilities, remember. So there are some payments which we have to make in near future. They are the current liabilities, say within 1 year for example. And some liabilities are there which for which we'll have to pay in future, remember, maybe after long time of period, for 2 or 3 years, 2 or 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Since we are making the payment after 2 or 3, 4, 5 years, in that particular case, this kind of assets becomes the this kind of liability becomes non-current liabilities. Remember, based upon the payment time. If payment time includes more time, it will be a non-current liability. If payment time is very near, it will be current liabilities. Remember. So I'm just reading in that only. I'll also call out the names that you can, so you can make the reference from the transaction point of view. These refer to those liabilities which fall due for payment in relatively long periods. Remember, normally after more than one accounting year. For example, long-term loans and debentures that we pay gradually within 4 to 5 years of time span. Number next, we have the current liabilities. Remember, current liabilities refer to those liabilities which are to be paid in near future, normally within 1 year. Remember. For example, the bank overdraft means the amount drawn from bank, excess amount, bills payable, creditors, outstanding expenses, short-term loans. Remember, these are the current liabilities for which we have to make the payment in near future. Number three, we have contingent liabilities. So, in a business, for example, there are some liabilities as well for which payment is uncertain. We may have to make the payment or we may not have to make the payment. For example, a court case is going on against our business, and we expected that we may have to pay 5 lakh rupees if we lose the particular court case. So what happens that in particular case, the business do create a provision or do create a contingent liability which is not certain. But if we lose the case, for example, we will have to pay. So we may not, so may or may not. There's certain condition, there's certain uncertain situation is there. So we have to pay. So what accounting does, accounting makes it possible assumption that we may have to pay. So for this reason, they create contingent liabilities. That if we lose the court case, we'll pay the amount from this contingent liability. So in the name, for example. So we also save the money. So like for example, Diwali is maybe during the Diwali, for example, we start saving the money before 2 or 3 months, because we assume that we may have to pay or we may have to use this money for some purpose of time, or we may not have to if we get the money from our father or mother, for example. The same way the business does the same thing. Let me read in that these are not the actual liabilities on the date of balance sheet, but remember may become payable only on the happening of some specific event, which I have given the example. Number one, we have that bills receivable. Na, skip this part only. Just for the simplicity sake, leave this 1, 2, 3, whatever given under the contingent liability. We'll discuss later on when we do solve the practical questions. Now, what we have the 7 number items, which is trade receivables. Okay, that trade receivables means what? That trade. Remember, trade means what? The business. So we do business on cash basis as well, and we do business on trade basis as well. That means today we have sold goods to Manoj, and that Manoj will pay me in future, maybe after 1 week, maybe after 1 month, maybe after 6 months, for example. They becomes trade payables. The amount that we, my mistake, trade receivable. Sorry, that amount that we have to receive or we will receive in future because we have done trade. So trade receivables, remember. So it means that trade receivables refer to the amount receivable or collectible on account of sale of goods or services rendered by the business or company in the normal course of business. Many businesses, or I will say every businesses, do sell goods on credit, and the amount that they expect in future to be received in future, that amount becomes trade receivables. And we have two categorization of trade receivables. First is debtor and second is bills receivable, remember. So what in debtors? So we, in case of debtor, we simply record the name of the person from whom we are going to get the money in future on account of sale goods on credit. So for example, Manoj, Sohan. So today we have sold the goods of rupees 1 lakh to Mohan and 3 lakh to rupees to Sohan, and both have admitted that they will pay me after 1 week. So for 1 week, till they're not paying us the money, that Sohan and Mohan, my mistake, the Manoj and that Sohan becomes our debtor, and we record in the books of the accounts their names that we have to pay. We have to receive 1 lakh rupees from Mohan and Manoj, and 3 lakh rupees from the Sohan. Remember, they becomes a debtor. So till debtor, let me know that have you understood all the topics discussed? Reply with yes or no. Till date I'm saying. Reply me. Just wait. Okay. Next we have the bills receivable. Remember. Now in case of debtors, they just verbally say that I'll pay you with the money, and on based upon their verbal admission, what we do is simply record the names. But sometimes business do require or do need a written document from them as well, and that written document that they will pay in future becomes and gives the name of bills receivable. Remember, that bill is different, that we call as bill in practical life, that we have bill de do, we have purchased something, that is invoice, remember. But bill mean over here a written document that the debtor has given us in writing that they will pay in near future, for example. That becomes a bill receivable. Now we have next topic of trade payables, remember. Just like we sell goods to a person on credit, in the same way we also purchase goods, raw materials, you can say the inputs on credit from some other person. Take example, we are just take that we are B, and in the first case we are selling goods on credit to Mr. to A, for example. Okay. In second case, just assume that to sell goods or to manufacture goods, we also need the raw materials and the inputs. So now you assume that from C, we are purchasing goods on credit, remember. So when we purchase the goods on credit, that becomes trade payables. Means in future we have to pay. That payables or the receivables, the word exhibit the future sentence. Remember, payables means we have to pay in future. Receivables, that means we are going to receive in future. So in the same case, we also get two names. First is the creditors. Remember, the same with debtors, the same with creditors. So the creditors are those people from whom we simply buy goods on credit, and we verbally commit that we will pay in near future. Those person becomes a creditor. And if bills payable, in terms of bills payable, the same thing. If we as a business give in writing that I will pay this amount or this much amount in a near future on a particular date, for example, that written document becomes the bills payable for that particular person. For us, it becomes a bills payable. Remember, just a two-party transaction. Okay, the bills payable. Remember. So again, I'm asking that have you understood till bills payable? let me know that have you understood till bills payable? Okay, reply fast. Only two people have replied till now. Okay, so I have got four replies. Out of how much? Seven people. No issues. So the first topics what we have is regarding the purchases. These things. So these things, this one more class we need to cover the remaining business basic accounting terms. One more class we need, and after just one more class, after one more class, we can simply start chapter number two, which is about accounting equation. So we leave these topics whatever we have done till bills payable till now in this class only, and from the purchases till the end of the particular chapter we'll discuss in the next class only. Okay. So just post roll numbers in the chat option so I can record your attendance and all. Just do post your roll numbers in the chat option. Okay, it's great. So thanks to all of you. We'll see you in the next class. I guess 10:30, from 10:30 we have BST now. So leaving this meeting, do join the particular that BST class only. Okay, on time. So bye to all of you. See you in the BST class only. Bye.